Hi y'all, I was doing some sketching and I thought I would talk to you. I'm about to do a video on makeup for kids, which probably isn't as bad as whatever you're thinking. So, I have to practice drawing eyes and lips and things. And I thought while I did that, we could just talk. It's really interesting. I think the thing that matters the most in life is being able to communicate. And even with yourself, it's very hard to be honest communicator with yourself. But my trick for being an honest communicator is to always say the very hardest thing out loud first. Or as close to first as is appropriate to say. It's very difficult though. But like whatever the most painful thing is, or whatever you're really afraid of, or whatever really matters to you, that, you know, the things that you can express, not something that would be dangerous to say to someone, or something that wouldn't be appropriate or whatever. But it is really hard. It's like whatever produces feelings in you, kind of. But in a personal sense, not in a business sense. I saw this girl, and her makeup was very cool. She had I think she had dark blue eyes. Let's see. She had dark blue eyes. Okay. And what she did was, she took her makeup and she made her makeup white on the lids. White on the lids. I think she was trying to be a white supremacist, I'm not sure. But she didn't really, but it was weird because her makeup was sort of evocative of the times, and I never know what that's supposed to mean. So then she did a black crease in her eye like this, which I had never seen anybody do before. Not on her eyelid though, on the crease, with just a little bit of a wing. Here, this. And she had natural eyelashes. I just thought that was really weird makeup. And I was like, I need to remember that for Goth Thursday. So I thought when I first saw her, because I hadn't listened to her talk yet, and I thought how weird it is that even in this age of total communication all the time, we still have these unspoken biases. Because I don't even think that she realized what she was communicating to people. But it's interesting. And then I was also thinking of doing a video for kids. For makeup for kids, like I said. Which is always so touchy a subject. But I've always thought that the best way to parent is to say yes as often as possible. And some kids are just given to makeup at an early age. Like, I don't know if you ever watched a Glamorous show. But I mean, even some guys, like when I was growing up, guys wore eyeliner all the time. And it didn't really seem like that big a deal to have them. He barely noticed. That's not right. He barely noticed that they were wearing it. It's very hard to draw eyes that match. I don't know why I'm not really good at drawing two eyes together, so I thought I'd practice. But anyway, I keep wanting to do eyebrow and eyes here. It was really interesting. So I try not to have an unspoken bias. Sometimes I have spoken ones. But I try to be unbiased, of course. But, I mean, to draw the nose marker. Actually, at the bottom of that. It's easier with a real eraser. But it is difficult. But for me, the hardest thing was I sent some things to my daughter, and I got a notice saying that she had moved. And my mother-in-law is the one that faked having a special needs son. She made my son-in-law dress up like the boy and put him in a wheelchair and stuff. And she really hates me because I didn't fall for it, because I'm a special ed teacher. And so I saw it right away. And people hate that, So anyway, she moved up to my daughter's house because she couldn't live alone anymore. She has mental issues. She couldn't really handle it, so she had to move. And it's really sad because I just would never be a cruel person to people. Not unless I'm pushed really, really far. And even then, I probably wouldn't. So it still doesn't look quite right. Let me just work on the makeup for this one. If you do too much, it makes it look like it has makeup on it already. But, so she's home with the baby and all. Which is fine. I don't begrudge people time with people. Because I really soaked up my kids when I had the chance. So I don't ask any more from life than that. To have been able to be there when they were little was really just the best thing ever. And I enjoyed it so much. But I just felt like it was kind of mean for that woman to send the present back. I'll show you in a little bit because I want my kids to see the present so that if this happens again, then they know. But see, I sent like 4 or 5 presents because I hadn't sent a lot in January, and they were just little coloring books and crayons and things. But some of them got, I'm trying to do the makeup, so I have to keep it blank actually. But some of them got returned, and some of them got accepted, because the ones that got accepted were delivered on a Saturday. And the ones that got returned were delivered on a Friday. Or even a Thursday, I think. But I don't know, I don't think I would ever be that mean, you know? But I keep getting this, like, meanness from people. I don't really know what's causing it. It's very strange. I like my mother-in-law. She's an artist, and she really does good work. And I don't know. So I do this because I'm sure that she watches me if she has YouTube. And I hope that she's noticing that I'm picking up things from her. She used to talk to me about eyes. And drawing eyes. And she talks to me a lot about drawing hands. But hands are just so difficult. Eyes are pretty easy. But it's interesting. I don't know what it is about people. But that really shocked me. My daughter has a good job. She really does. So then I went to look it up on the background check, because I have a background check. I keep it because when I was little, my sister went missing voluntarily for a while. And my mom used to call the hospitals and things. I looked for her. Oh, sorry. So I promised myself that the one thing I wouldn't worry about was whether they were alive or not. It's so interesting. So I just have a background check app that's really good. That I pay money for, so I can check on them twice a year or so. And just make sure that they're still alive. Because I always believe, as long as they're still alive, there's probably hope. But it's just hard sometimes. So interesting. All kinds of advantages out there in the world. It's just kind of nice. But, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, French mime territory, guys. We'll see. But anyway, I know people wonder. But I have Al-Anon, so I'm not really the kind of person that's going to stress about it. I thought that was cruel. And I don't like cruel. So, interesting though. I think they don't think that Amazon talks to people, you know? I think they think that they can say these things and that it won't matter. That's why I try to say everything online, is because then you know it matters, you know? Well, that's much better. But not very good for makeup is the thing. Let's see. There we go. Okay. But isn't that funny? But see, the woman is disturbed, obviously. Or she wouldn't. She's lashing out. It's awful, you know, I understand that. Like, when she thinks she messed up. And she thinks I'm sort of pointing it out to everyone that she messed up. But, every time. But I'm not really doing that. I was trying to explain that I was damaged by something, because if you know me, then you know my story is one of sort of like being scapegoated and triumphing and stuff like that. It's weird. But really, I wouldn't have it any other way, I guess. It's just difficult. But it's true that if you ask my kids, they would definitely say that they don't approve of how I do things all the time. For sure. But I'm glad that I raised them able to have those opinions. I just thought that was so mean. And it could have been someone here at the apartments diverting things too, because they've done that before as well. I think they are trying to turn this into a hospital, maybe. Which is sad. Or a coyote place or something. I don't know what I was thinking with this color. It is difficult. Oh, anyway, so what that woman does is she puts the same color in the crease, I guess you would say. Oops. But it's not like that, because the crease is not above the eye. The crease is behind the eye. But the way she does it makes it look like it's behind the eye. Which is so funny. But I don't know. I just feel very lucky. Lucky I have a program and I have perspective and all those things. But it's still really scary. I mean, there's a lot of people that wouldn't want me to be in the program because I'm part black. But I do love being in it anyway because it saved my life for sure. Oops, see, it keeps doing that. I don't know what it does now. Oh, see, and it always changes the color. Is that the stalker then? What the hell's the matter with him? But anyway, I'm very grateful to have been in the program for so long. 21 years in Al-Anon. And I need every minute of it. Which is great. It's so hard to correct people though, because like even with the alcohol today from Walmart, it's like I'm still a 5th grader in AA. I don't really feel like I can correct people per se. But I never line all the way around my eyes, but it just looks better than drawing to do that. What color eyes shall we have? Purple or light blue? Very strange. And I don't know what's wrong with her. The woman that delivered my groceries. I think she's somehow related to Kay. But I did get my credit back for him. But you know, it's really sad because they're always like, oh, well, I'll take these if no one minds. So y'all don't have to put them back or whatever. There's always that one person that tries to walk off with them. That's sad. You can't decide if I like this color or not. Like French mime eyes. Very goth. I don't know if I like this or not. I feel like I should be smoking unfiltered gitans. Unfiltered gitans. I like it. No. Yeah. No. Too high up. Perfect nose. Oh, shoot. Zut, alors. Varies. And how odd it is to not know. I mean, I always knew. Like, when I moved up here, and one reason I moved up here is because it was so hard to not know what they were doing. You know? My one daughter, she has this heart-shaped face. She has a widow's peak. Well, she has yellow hair. She's not going to fit this sort of narrative with his eyes. But anyway, this woman would have bangs. And she would smoke unfiltered gitans. And she would have a Chanel purse and gold bangles all up and down her arms. Okay. And she would have a perfect bow of a mouth. Like that. And it would be bright red. Classical beauty of a mouth. It is very odd, y'all. Also, I don't think her lower lip would be as big. Somewhere in there. Anyway, that just really upset me. So they said that she moved. Oh, so anyway, I looked her up on the background check. It's a little quick. So I looked her up on the background check, and it said that she was alive, which is nice. But it said that she was living in Houston. And when I read that, I just felt so sad because it was like more cruelty. Because she's almost certainly not living in Houston. Right? Because your heart tells you, well, if she was living in Houston, Houston's only 3 hours away. So she would have come up here at least to see Norbert. Right? I mean, that's what your heart tells you, anyway. But evidently that's not true. And you know, two things. When my mom died, she didn't even reach out to me, y'all. Really strange. Very much behavior unlike her. And when, I'm not sure what size, somewhere in here. Let's see. And but she's always taken the presents for the grandchildren. Because that's, you know, my right as a grandmother. And in return, I've never really pushed it because I feel like we never really know. It's sort of tilted. That's like we never really know why people are upset with us, I think, unless they're very good communicators, which she has not been. But then she really doesn't, unfortunately, she doesn't have much of a leg to stand on in this because she's sort of, you know, he's really put her in a difficult spot with all the lying. And there was even more lying, although I can't remember what it was right this second. I have to think about it. But so much, y'all. Then I remembered it's very difficult to find a good job. So unless you change at the half year, which is quite possible, it would be unlikely that she would live anywhere else but where she was living. Not that I'm tracking her, though. See, that's the thing. It's like, I don't care where she lives as long as she's happy. But I do. Now, this side of the face always gets me. Like, I don't know how. I might do something peach. Let's see. French women would have kisses on their face for sure. Anyway, I don't know how to kind of explain how much I hope that they're both okay. But for some reason, the younger one, I had already kind of dealt with the fact that she might, you know, be living off and on. She has money, serious money. And so I had already dealt with the fact that she could be a global habiter. Like she might be living all over the place. But the other one is such a homebody. It's just hard to believe that she would live in Texas and not tell me. Although living back in Texas was always her goal. You know, she loves to live in Texas. She's my only Texan. I had her in San Antonio, and her birth story is a whole another story. But, for sure, that's really interesting. I don't know, too goth. It comes out looking more, something odd about the head shape over here. That's too odd. Let's see. It's too high up. I think I did too low of a friend. How I love drawing. I just find drawing very relaxing. You do kind of feel like you're drawing something that already exists to a certain extent. It doesn't really. I've never met this person before. Just her type, kind of. I guess you would say. It's weird how the hair sort of ruins it. Take off the hair. The heck is that? No, eraser. Interesting. Maybe she needs a different color. My daughter's a blonde. One of them. I have so many. If she ever wore this kind of makeup, she would look great, but I don't know. It's not really her thing. Look at me, look. My other daughter wears makeup like this all the time and also looks great, but she's a brunette. And like I said, her I trust. Like, I don't know, I just trust her because she's not a homebody. She loves her home and her family, but she likes being cosmopolitan and traveling and very much more elegant type person. You know, she's more town and country and vogue than better homes and gardens and southern living. Whereas this one's more southern living for sure. But you know, I bet she's happy wherever she is, and at least there's that. But anyway, they said that she moved. And the idea that she would move without telling me was just so hurtful. I mean, I used to love filling out those change of address cards like that we buy at the Hallmark store. And I would just send them to everybody. I had my wedding book of addresses. I don't like the way the hair looks. I don't want to do hair. And I would, well, I almost said for a second. And I would take the address book and I would go through it and I would send everybody my address, even people I didn't like, just because that's what I was taught to do when I was younger. Which is so funny. I don't know. I would say, what gaineth a man if he loses his whole soul? And I'm always like, well, I would never lose my whole soul, y'all. But I like having lots of abilities, and I'm always practicing the things I'm not very good at, like drawing, for example, which is so funny. But I appreciate y'all watching me flounder around. It's kind of fun. So here, and y'all, it's kind of a nightmare because these guys have been so cruel. But that's evidently just one more cruelness, probably emanating from here. But anyway, so then I looked it up on the background check, is my point. And the weird thing is that this picture came up of this house in Houston, in an okay area, kind of like the kind of house that we had, smaller, but, you know, a little house, like the one that her mother-in-law, the woman that lives with him now, had. And, but parked in front of it was my old A's car. Which I always, I always liked that car. And even when she bought a new car, just like the guy kitty cornered to me, they bought exactly the same car, but just a newer model. Almost everybody I know does that. I'm the only one I know that doesn't do that, but my daughter did, which is different. But anyway, they buy like the newer version of the same car. So like if they have a Expedition, they buy a newer Expedition. If they have a Dodge Ram, they buy a newer Dodge Ram. Which is so odd, but it is their way. And I don't know what that means, really. It does seem so unusual. Be lashing. It started to look good there for a second. So anyway, I didn't know what that meant. I'm so used to people having delusions of reference. It made me sort of pause and wonder what that means. Does that mean it's a ruse? Does that mean that she lives there and now she's driving my old A's car? I really don't think she would do that. I don't know. In her town where she has a really good job, she had an SUV. It wasn't an Expedition. I mean, I think there wasn't one of them had an SUV. And so I'm not really sure which one, but I thought that was interesting to see if lining on the top is supposed to be a new thing, No. So I want to drive right on top of this. There. I don't know why it kind of messes it up. Interesting. There's always one side that works out even when you're trying it this way, which is so right. One side always looks better. Unless someone else is doing your makeup for you, in which case it's a lot easier. But I don't know, yeah. It's really weird. I'm just using my finger to draw, so I'm limited as far as like what miracles I can produce here. Oh, that's the same color, so let's see. Very odd, y'all. I'm ready for summertime makeup. I don't think this looks really great, though. But y'all, it's weird. They literally have people, like, get dressed up and go talk to my children, my own children, and ask them questions. And mic them and record them answering. As if they're talking on, like, to some journalist or something. Except for that they're not told that they're being recorded or whatever. And it's just so creepy. And then that's what they go and they talk to people about. Which I find so hard to believe. This eye is not stable. Oops. Oh, that's wrong with this thing. Is that weird? So, I usually try not to worry about it because it's usually made up crap anyway. But it is difficult. Anyway, that brought up feelings because I was like, well, your brain, ever since coronavirus lockdown, when we all got so introspective, it's like something happens and your brain says, okay, you need to think about this. Like, what if the big thing about the big fallacy of life is, what if this happened to you kind of fallacy. So we tell ourselves that whenever something happens to anyone, we always have to ask ourselves, like, what if this happened to me? Like, what if she did move and tell me, and I didn't have my background check or any way of finding out? What if, because my aide's family used to follow her, my eldest daughter specifically, around, y'all. Even in New York City, they had people shadowing them up there. Like they had, I don't know, like they owed them money or something. But they don't owe them any money at all. I don't owe them any money at all. It's so weird. There's a little cock right there. And so, I don't know what to think. But anyway, they were shadowing her around. So it could be that she lives in Houston and they're parked outside her house. I mean, that kind of thing has happened before to our family. That wouldn't certainly be the first time. And I thought, I don't know, it's just so funny. So, anyway, so the fallacy is that you want to tell yourself, well, I should prepare myself in case that happens one day. In case they move and they don't tell me and they're living, very close, because Houston's not that far away from me. New York, I actually moved up here because it's not hard to get out of Texas from here as far as travel goes. So I knew wherever my kids would end up, they would be close enough to travel to see back when we all got along, which was only 2021, y'all. They were still talking to me in 2021. Which is so weird to think that was so, a few years ago. They're actually still talking to me in 2022. Until I started asking questions about this other thing with the muscular dystrophy child. They were happy to keep in touch until 2022. And I don't know why I ended up getting the flack for that. I didn't want her to get flack for it either, because she has mental illness. So she can't really, it would be weird to be mad at her for that. But she has mental illness, so she's not really given to anything that you would really get mad at her for. She's more, I don't know, she's more innocent type than that. Like, you can't really say that she understands what she's doing or whatever, which is how she likes it, really, which is interesting. Anyway, I was just asking my daughter, I was like, have you really thought about, this not being true? Like, isn't that kind of scary? It's so funny. The trouble with the edges of the nose. There. Slightly better. No. No. Too high up. almost. Right. Kind of. So I just wondered, but do we really have, so it made me wonder, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, kind of, in the middle of all of those things, was, do we really have to prepare ourselves for everything that happens to us ahead of time? Can we not just trust that we'll be able to handle things when they, can we not just trust that we'll be able to handle things when they happen? It's so funny. It's like Snowman. His time on the podcast seems to have ended for the moment anyway. And I always knew that it might be a temporary thing. But I never really told myself each time to, enjoy it, because I was like, well, I mean, that's just kind of true for everybody. If you're always preparing yourself for some sort of bad thing to happen, then you don't really treasure the times when you don't really enjoy the good things that are happening to you. You just sort of, wonder. And I've had other people like that. They very rarely actually are unavailable in the future. They're always there somewhere. And I don't really have people sort of say bye forever to me, usually. Let's see. What I don't know. What I need is like a mauve or something. All they give me is like carnation. Okay, so what kind of mouth for this person? Bigger than that. His mouth I always found. Let me finish my story first. But, so anyway, so do we really need to prepare ourselves for every eventuality? What I like to do for mouths, real quick, I'll just say this part, is I like to go under the nose and make the little frenulum. Is that what it's called? The little frenulum thing. And then I know where to start the bow of the mouth. But the problem is the mouth is tilting. And so this side of the mouth actually curves back towards the rest of the mouth. It's sort of tilted. And drawing a tilted mouth is not easy to do. You have to just keep drawing it wider until your eye says, oh, that's it. That sounds great. But anyway, so I never really, I understand that one day they may disappear from view entirely, but I do sort of wonder if it's really worth, trying to practice what that feels like, and why someone else out there wants me to feel that, That woman that was the lover of my ex-husband and, still is in the picture, she wanted me. She would always try to set me up this way. Like if I wanted to date a doctor or something, she would always be like, no doctor would, she literally said to me, no doctor would ever want to date you, which is so funny. She also told me no one would ever give me a kidney, but I think that's more about that immune deficiency. But anyway, so she was saying, no doctor would ever want to date you and stuff like that. And she always wanted me to have this sort of experience of sort of what she felt, almost having something and then having it get taken away somehow. Like she felt like I did to her, which is kind of sad. This part's bugging me a little bit because it's so funny when it does that. But anyway, the mouth should be pointed down this way a little bit more. Here. There. Okay. Let's color this in. Let's color this in. So it's so interesting. Anyway, she wanted, even though she didn't really have that experience herself, that's the thing that's so odd about it, is that she didn't really have that experience. He cared for her. She was blackmailing him, but he did care for her somewhat in his way, his very imperfect way. And so at least he has that going for him. But he did care for her a little bit. And that's, so she doesn't need to inflict all this pain and stuff. But someone out there seems to still want to inflict pain on me. And I'm not sure who it is. And knowing that there's someone out there that's that cruel would just say, oh, well, she's moved, is kind of upsetting. Because the other day I went to the post office to mail a bill, 2 bills. This here. Kind of move it around so it feels right here. Maybe. Okay. But anyway, so I went to the post office to mail 2 bills, and they both got lost in the mail, which I thought was kind of weird. Because see, mostly what people want to hear about me are the intangibles. I don't know what those would be, but I know that the things that they're trying to achieve for themselves are things that you can't, buy at the store and stuff. And I don't know, because for me, if I want to do something, I just practice until I get better at it. Still not great at it. See, you really can't draw this part over here. You kind of have to leave it open. She doesn't have ears. But anyway, so you can't really, get what's good about me from stealing, You can hurt me by stealing, I guess, if that's what people want to do. But you can't really, hurt me, per se. I mean, you can, physically, of course, if you wanted to, and maybe they will eventually if nobody stops them, which I don't really understand why someone's not stepping in to stop all this, but it's so funny. But, they keep thinking that if the people move, that the problem will stop. But that just means that the problem's not moving. That's very Scooby-Doo. But they keep thinking that if they move the problem, it's like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum in Target, if they'll just stop. If you think, oh, well, if you give them what they want, then they'll stop. But you can't run a town like that. I mean, that's crazy. It's really freaky. And I don't know why. People keep trying to run a town like that. That's okay. because I'm trying to decide which way the nose should go. Should it go this way? Should it go this way? I keep drawing this direction facing. I'll try this direction facing. Too high. So, I worry because I'm like, well, I don't really know what they're trying to get from me. I do some things pretty well, but if I don't know how to do something, I just teach myself. I don't try to steal it from somebody else. Like if I know someone and they're taken, I don't go around worrying about it. Like Snowman and I, we really were just coworkers. I don't know why I always have to lose out in this whole coworker thing, but it's fine. I'm not complaining about that, considering you can probably hear me. But it's funny. I don't know what makes women so insecure. I've been around accomplished women all my life. I don't get jealous of them. I don't want what they have. I have my own. I just think it's weird. The eyebrow's so nice, I want to delete it. Let me see. No. It's just interesting, If I don't draw real well, but I just keep at it until I like it. But if you didn't like it, I wouldn't be angry with you. I don't think you have to like what I do. I don't know. Makeup's not easy to do, but it's fun. And drawing's fun because, you're drawing, and then all of a sudden it becomes something else. I wasn't going to draw makeup today. But here we are. Just a little much here. I don't know. I've always known what I wanted for my life. And I don't know. Like I said, the problem with me is that you can't get what you want from me by stealing it. I don't think, anyway. But they've tried to steal my children. I mean, they've stolen lots of things. And I'm not angry with them. Because I figure if my kids are stealable, then, that's the way that goes, I guess. But it is interesting. My daughter and I used to sketch together. She had a whole sketchbook of stuff that she would sit and sketch. And my other daughter's really good at paper crafts, like building, designing, and sewing and stuff. I'm pretty good at sewing too, but like I said, life's not a competition, and I never I never presented life like a competition. I don't really do that, per se. It's so hard to draw a sideways mouth. It's like, I'm trying to think. like if you turn your head, you only see part of your face, but you see the face facing you, so that would be this side, right? And you don't see this side so much. So see, I like that half, but I don't know what to do with the other half. But they used to always have these contests. You know, if you can draw this, then you can go to art school and stuff like that. Little mouse. And I like those kinds of things. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is people want your results, you know, but they don't see how hard you have to work to get those results. And I really, I mean, it may not seem like I have to work real hard, but I do work real hard. And I'm not even sure I get really good results. Anyway, that's something else that my mother-in-law taught me, was just to keep adding to something with little strokes until your brain says, ah, that's it. So I'm not going to try like that. Let's see. Okay, a little friendly one. But anyway, my philosophy is that you don't have to prepare yourself for things. That when something happens, you have to go through it just like you hadn't prepared yourself for it anyway. You know, your body physically responds to an event in the moment, and there's no real preparation for it. No. There's no real preparation for it possible. No. So you have to just kind of wait. It's so funny. I don't know what I'm doing. But another way to do a mouth is to draw a circle here and then draw the mouth around the circle. Sort of a weird way to do it, I guess. No. And then you can kind of see as you go. There. See? My eye says that's good. Then you take the circle. There. Okay, that's where I want my mouth. I have to figure out what I want the mouth to look like. No. There. Just made a way more involved thing than I thought I was going to do at first here. Maybe it's so funny. So you can't really prepare yourself. But that just felt so cruel. It felt crueler than losing Snowman for sure, because he's a coworker. But I mean, it felt cruel to find out that, to think that maybe she really had left. And that, you know, she was not far away and not visiting. Even though I know that when my mom died, she didn't say anything. Which is so funny, you know. I mean, I know that. Like, you wouldn't do that unless you hated somebody. Or someone was controlling you. But I mean, that's just really bad. Yeah. Somewhere here. Anyway, very strange. No, there's something wrong with this part here. No. I'm just a perfectionist. You have to like at least half of the thing or it doesn't work really. And everyone's like, well, it doesn't have to be a fancy mouth. It's like, well, I have to put lipstick on it. So it has to be kind of a fancy mouth. But it is sad. Because these guys, these from my AIDS family, they're just so vicious, you know? And I was put on the earth to be successful. Everyone was, y'all. And I don't know what to think about it. If I had told their kids that they couldn't be successful, they would be upset with me. But of course I didn't. I would never say that to any child. And they have tried to say that to me over and over again. I was thinking about this sort of like an African American face. So I'm trying to do like darker lines. But it's difficult. I mean, they're not that much different, of course. But the lines of the colors are different. This is a full face. So odd. Let's see. There's a beard. So interesting. Mm-hmm. I kind of like the brown. Actually, let's try that. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm just trying to say that it doesn't really work to prepare yourself for things. It's very difficult. I don't always love lipstick. She liked all colors, but she would never go anywhere without her red lipstick. some shade of red. But it's so funny. Because you talk to people, and these people that hate me so much, I'm always like, oh, I could do this. And they're like, no, you can't. And you start to wonder if maybe that's what they do with their children. Because they're so insistent on hating me and limiting me and punishing me, forcing me to do this, keeping me from doing that. And you start wondering if maybe that's not the source of their troubles after all. It's sad. Because I was never like that with my... Shoot. But I was never like that with my children, you know? My children... The only thing I ever asked my kids was that whatever they were trying to do, they would get properly trained to do it. It's so funny. Like, I would always say proper licensing, proper safety equipment. I was like, if you have proper licensing... Oh, what's wrong with me? If you have proper licensing and proper safety equipment, then I'll let you do anything that you want to do. And I'll encourage you when you're over 18, of course, but like even when you're under 18, if you wanted to try something and you knew that you could get proper licensing for it and proper safety equipment, then I wouldn't mind. You know? And I definitely didn't expect the teachers at school to do everything for them. I don't know. I definitely thought that being a teacher would be safer than it is, for sure. I mean, my life and my work and my efforts are in danger every single day from these people. And they have been for 25 years. And I really think the district could have done more to help me with that, for sure. I mean, they didn't even try to warn me. And where these people got the idea that I was to blame for anything is so crazy. That's why I thought it was racism, is because it's just like, it seems so insane that they would just decide that and thank God, I mean, I can handle it at least more than these other women, but the 12 years, they would just pick one teacher is weird, you know? And these are people that were coworkers of mine also. There are other teachers that are blaming me as well. So strange. But anyway, I think that kind of mentality probably has more to do with why their kids weren't successful. If they weren't even you don't even, like, I'm not even sure that that's even measurable with all this hatred at this point. They always ask you, you know, before they start testing you for anything, if there's any kind of bias or whatever that would interfere with the test results. And I can't even imagine like what that would or wouldn't be at this point. Oh my god. How freaky. I kind of know the face. Oh, that's weird. That must mean I'm doing okay so far. So funny when you're drawing in elementary school and you make everybody have a neck, like a stem, like a plant or something. Like I said, only one side of the face at a time. Seems like it's really hard to do any sides of the face sometimes. Let's see. Just too straight. It is so hard to know what to do because, I mean, I don't like blaming anybody for anything. And it seems like, getting upset with some of these people is just sort of returning their faults upon them. How can that be helpful, I mean, that just makes it worse. And yet, I mean, at a certain point, this isn't working for me. I think this is bugging me a little bit here. I think at a certain point, it's just sort of important to look at it and wonder, like, is it even rational what they're feeling right now? The way that they're behaving, I mean, is any of it even based on anything, really? Because, I mean, we know that we can't, that we measure our goals, and that we have SMART goals and all that stuff, and that we measure everything as we go and adjust our teaching to fit. And then it's, the good thing about Texas education is that it's law, y'all. It's literally illegal to break the Texas education code. So, sadly for those parents, it's just unlikely that anyone would do that. Like, the things that they're saying happen, they probably didn't happen. Like, just because I left my job for my family, I mean, I was a single mom, and I had little kids. So it wasn't that I was, like, doing my very best all the time, but I was functioning as a human, and I was fulfilling the responsibilities of my job, It's very interesting. But I literally see people every day that are acting like it's okay to just not do things for me. Which seems odd, huh? Well, that's certainly interesting. I don't know if it's any good. So funny. I have fun with this stuff. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to be like, what? Okay. But yeah, that's why I'm always like, guys, I could draw y'all from memory. I don't know why people stress. But I'm not trying to do that here. So anyway, I would say don't try to prepare yourself for everything. Because people don't. Because the only thing you ever try to prepare yourself for in the end are sad things. I mean, you might say to yourself, what if I meet somebody and get married? Or what if I have a kid? Or what if I move or get a great job offer? Or win the lottery? Or whatever it is. I mean, you might say all those things to yourself. But you don't really, but that's not really what you're meaning when you say I need to prepare myself. When someone says I need to prepare myself, they mean for something very bad. Like my aunt's 96, 90, almost just 97 in a couple of days. I mean, I need to prepare myself. because she might pass away. And she's been passing for a long time. And so I'm not the favorite person in that side of the family, even though I love those guys, because, you know, they don't live that truth for themselves. And that's their choice, and I respect their choices, you know. It's just very funny, because I remember when I first started on Reddit, I was talking to this guy, and he was African American. And he was like, okay, I've never dated a white girl before. And I was like, oh, well, you know, that's fine. And then I changed my avatar to black, and it looked so odd. It was so funny. And he's like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to commit cultural appropriation. And then I was like, you know, but it's not really cultural appropriation. It's just funny. But it is. But it isn't. But it is. But it isn't. But it really isn't. But it kind of is. And it just goes back and forth like that all the time. And I think there's a lot of things in life that are like that. A little, you know, life's not really precise. And I like that about life, that life's not really precise. But it's so funny. Because you don't really, you know, see all the complexities to life. Unless you're an analytical person. Like, I'm kind of an analyst, whatever you say that. And I love the complexities of life. And I like, you know, learning about things. And I don't worry about offending people and stuff like that, because just in my brain, people shouldn't really be offended. But, you know, do I really think that I'm going to tell my kids I started a successful business venture, or that I've met somebody, you know, in a personal sense or anything like that? Like, I can't really see that so much, but you just never know. But at the same time, I've been trained by society to not prepare myself for that either, which I think is kind of sad. Life is so funny. I mean, I've already done those things. You know, I've called my kids and said I found a great job, and then it turned into a nightmare. But I did. I called my kids and I was like, oh, I have a great job. You know, and they were so excited. They're a little tiny, and they were so excited for me. And I was excited for me too. But, you know, it's just not quite to be. That looks cool. Very, like, whatchamacallit, New Yorker kind of eyes. I don't know. I think it could happen. I'm always telling myself it could happen, right? I mean, somebody's got to believe in you, and I always think it's best to believe in yourself, like the movie says. But it's unlikely. I think when you get more than one bit of bad news in a row, it kind of teaches you that that's sort of the way the ball is bouncing in your life, you know, that your life is bouncing in the negative, and you should really get a handle on that. But I have money, y'all. Money's not the problem. It's just Trying to keep an eye on the trends is difficult. For sure. It's kind of the same face all the time, huh? Let's make a different face. What other kind of women's faces are there? There's round. Let's try a round face. Okay. My daughters, one of them has a heart-shaped face, like I said. And then which is like this, kind of. Oh. Like that. And then we have oval faces, my other daughter and I. So I'm not used to drawing anything else, really. So I'm practicing. Yeah. I don't know. Draw that oval. Now, draw the oval over here. It's so funny. Suspiciously ethnic, let's see. Again, you get that feeling of, oh my gosh, I know her. So funny. No. Just this part. There. No. Lordy, all that work. I have to erase it because I moved it too far over here. There. That's the thing about me, is everyone's like, oh, well, you can't be an art teacher or a music teacher. But I could be both. And again, it's all these people that are mad about how their kids turned out that are trying to limit me. And you have to wonder if they weren't also trying to limit them without meaning to. Which is sad. Valentine's Day. Makeup for Valentine's Day. I already practiced my pink palette I get ready for every holiday a month ahead of time. So I did my pink palette a month ago, and if you look a month down on my videos, you'll find it, which is funny. And in my Palestine Israel video, I was doing my Valentine's Day palette. Which I don't know. I think people with dark skin look good with light colors. And people with light skin look good with dark colors. I like contrast. A lot of people like homogeneity. But in makeup, the good news is that you can do whatever you want. Which is fun. But, uh-oh. except for make a mistake. Isn't that funny? You can do whatever you want, but you have to stay within, like, certain, not lines, maybe, but parameters. Norbert, are you okay? Norbert's right here. See, I have to do my whole eye again. It's kind of scary. The other one looks so nice. Now do this eye again. It's hilarious. Let's see. Okay. Sort of looks Humpty Dumpty-esque, doesn't it? It's very strange. I don't know. I don't know. Something's wrong with this part of it. But y'all, I mean, honestly, I could talk to y'all for hours. And the point of it is that I got sad. I hate getting sad. But I got sad this week. People were especially cruel this week. I really don't know why. But they are especially cruel this week. Well, I mean, those are eyes. The round face is freaking me out. It looks very odd, doesn't it? Even the mouth's a little bit too much. Okay, let's see. Back, race. Eyebrows. Eyeballs. No. Possibly. That's an interesting face. Ah, lordy. Anyway, I love my kids so much, y'all, that I let them fly wherever they want to do whatever they want. But the only thing I've ever asked them to do is not lie to me. But it turns out that they've hid a lot of things from me over the years, which is hard to believe. Marriages, births. It's weird. I mean, I hope not births. It's kind of hard. It's like, what do you hope more? That they've only had the 2 children? Or that they've had more children? I kind of hope both at the same time. You know? Everyone's always like, well, what would the good news be? And honestly, I don't know. All I know is you can't see both sides of people's faces unless they're looking at you. Let's see, this way and this way. That would be awful. Like, I wouldn't want to be watched by my children. We've gotten so much kind of a weird way of life. We forget that people that, I don't know how to explain it. There's a certain sort of dependency in hating someone. And that's the most frustrating thing about all this, is I dislike dependency in any form. And I don't want to be, like, it's it's like I'm controlling them. They're dependent on me. Because without me, they'd have to confront whatever that would be for them. Their shadow or whatever. I don't know. That looks good without a nose. They just not have a nose. It's so funny. It's like, could they just not have a nose at all? No. Maybe. I saw this woman today. She had the weirdest face. I was like, I'm going to remember that face and try to draw it later because that's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. She looked kind of artificial, like a robot. Maybe she was AI. I guess she could have been AI. But I thought, that is crazy. You know? It's like we have enough kind of perfectly imperfect people. You don't need artificially imperfect people. Somewhere there. Not sure. I don't know. So many people tell me there's a lot to work on. I'm very amateurish about the jaws and things. But so many people tell me so many bald-faced lies that it's hard not to hope that people are lying sometimes. Like you expect them to almost lie to you sometimes. Which is so funny. I don't know. It's like, why do people tell you that you can't do things that you can obviously do on the fly fairly well? Even though that's not very good. It's like good and not good at the same time. Once you get kind of good at something, you kind of have, people have higher expectations. And you start seeing the flaws of it all. It's funny. It's like you only have a small window of time where good is good. Or where impressive is impressive, you know? And then after that, you start having to do better. Like, this is my, 6th face? So you're probably already expecting me to do better at it. It's so funny. Aren't you? You're judging me. Even though I'm not really very good. I have never really done it this often before. This is maybe the 3rd time in my whole life I've drawn this many faces. But it's funny. No. No. Mouths are hard because there's like this triangle here, and you're supposed to pick a mouth in here somewhere. There, you're supposed to put the mouth down here somewhere. There, that's better. But then you also understand that that's probably the chin. Norbert. Norbert's trying to be a nut. Okay, so then in the mouth, you put this circle, and it's a big mouth. It's kind of too big a mouth. Like, what am I drawing? Is it a human? I'm not sure. Could draw an alligator. There, now it's an alligator. Well, here. That's not a very good alligator either. No? Mm-hmm. It's a good alligator mouth. So funny. My book character illustrating is far, far off. I was really just practicing a goth makeup, so. Let's see. Somewhere like that. It actually looked like a spectacular eyeball, but let's see. I don't know, y'all. Oh my goodness, y'all. Draw the Norbert. The Norbert of it all is so amazing. In every way, he is a flippin' miracle of a cat. Pure love in every fiber of his being. Right, Norbert? There. Get him from his little scared self. Something more approximating a Norbert. He is not beautimous, but he is beautimous to me. Aren't you, Norbert? Yes, you are. He's attractive. He's a sweetheart. Oh, Norbert. I am not crossing you out. It's so funny. He's like, what? But anyway. Oh, lordy. And when I think about my daughters, I think about them just being happy. Because when I knew them, they were happy. And that is what they should be, really, most of their lives. I think is happy. And they're sort of like me, you know, they'll soldier on, thinking that they're in the right. And they won't think they're being cruel because they know that they would never be cruel, etc., etc., etc. Ad nauseum. And they're just like that somehow. But they're probably fine. And a little tiny girl. It's sad though. Because she used to send me all these pictures of herself shopping and stuff. This one. And standing behind her would be two guys. Two of these Mexican shadowing guys, y'all. And it'd be so upsetting. And she just sort of accepts it as like, because she's used to these people being crazy. Don't forget, one of them my aide tried to break her finger when she was 5 years old. And ever since then, unbeknownst to me, these people have been following her around. For no reason. It's weird. I see that. My mom used to do the eyes like that. It's so funny. And I don't know why they're doing that. It's very odd. People shadow monsters, not transgender people. That's what they used to call transgender people a long time ago, which is horrible. But, I mean, they used to shadow people that were monsters. But my girls aren't monsters. They're just girls. It's hardly my kid's hair. Doesn't have the right color yellow. Or the right heart-shaped face here. See? So cute. She has a widow's peak. That's nice. She looks like a heart. She does. She looks like a big heart. But we know wherever she is, she's okay. Let's see if we can make her look more herself here. There's a challenge to draw a heart-shaped face. I honestly don't know how to do it. Like you do, I don't know how to do the chin. The chin's like this. She does sort of look like an anime creature. Of some sort. It's so funny. Hey, look! That's not bad. That's approximating. Now let's see if I can do it with the tan color. Her skin is darker than mine, actually. But she's, we'll use this color right now. That's very like. Much better. The hair is going to be a problem. I'm not using that orange color on her hair. They don't really give me another color. No. No, she's not peach. No strawberry blondes. My sister's a strawberry blonde. My eldest sister, when she was born, she was a strawberry blonde. Now she's kind of like a yellow-brown color. Well, I mean, now her hair's white, but then she was a yellow-brown color. That's better. There, that's better. She usually has, well, I mean, sometimes she has more professional, like, she calls it, like, professional, like, hair. It's so funny. Okay, this one's looking too goofy. So, let's see. I can always draw them, so when I miss them, I draw them. Which is a lot. So I know y'all think I don't get sad. I do get sad sometimes. I just don't get, like, impossibly sad, because I really did have a huge amount of time with these kids. I mean, a huge amount of time. To the extent that when coronavirus happened, we all kind of, like, took it as a minute to kind of get ourselves some personal time. You know? And they spent a lot of time with each other. There, I'm gonna put a smile on her. I hope she's happy. I give her that face because she's more like disapproving, I guess you could say sometimes. Let's see. And she's definitely a brunette. So let's do the hair first. Lots of hair. Okay. And then she has she has an oval face. And she's slender. So, let's see. It's funny because I have to wrap this up, but I'm still enjoying drawing them. It's really funny. Nah, her eyes sort of look like very crazy eyes. She's not crazy, my daughter. This daughter's hyper rational. Very skeptical. The other daughter is more, still not clear. This daughter's more like, I don't know how to explain it. She's more like Ava Gardner. Than what I just drew. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I could do it like that too. Good idea, me. Let's see. No. This one's all a mess for some reason. That one came out perfect. So how do I do it that way? I do the eyes first. So this daughter has like very almond shaped, tilting up eyes. Let's try that. There. And just remember, she's not like, how would you say? She has money, but she's not given to throwing her money around. So that's why I think we all are trying to support ourselves in this mess. Because life is very tenuous at best. And there's not really any amount of money that means that you're not ever going to have any financial troubles. Right? So that would be almost not good for me, really. Isn't that funny? I should be able just to sketch her out here. Okay, erase. Mental blocks begun. Now, eyes. No, I know that's not her eyes. She doesn't have big eyes. She has like, there, like that. Eyes. Okay. There. Man, you know, it's almost like the stalker's drawing with me. But I know he gets on my device sometimes. Let's see. Here, let's see. 'Cause, see, 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 'c Look, see? Okay. But that's what they always say, is they're always like, I see he gets mad, and he put malware on my device, so it'll still keep popping that up for some reason, which is weird. And I don't know what's wrong with him. He doesn't want me to have any fun. It's like Google Play Services when it stops working, but all I did was log him off. Because he gets on my modem and he gets on my router and he tries to get on my device. And you see it says this. And it's really malware that he just kind of leaves in here, which is sad. What do you think, y'all? So anyway, I'm trying to find out what happened with my USAA account still. I'm trying to do all these things still. And it's possible that some of the people stealing from me are these two creatures right here. But they don't really have any reason. This is much better. They don't really have any reason to. So, hopefully, it'll be fine. But I don't know what's wrong with these guys, y'all. It's like crazy. Like, I'm literally using keep notes, so it's giving that. It seems to be, as far as I can tell, it's giving that message to the stalker who's trying to stalk me. And he's trying desperately to log back on right now, which is really sad and frustrating. See? Isn't that pretty? I've never seen this thing act that crazy before, unless, like I said, unless Google Play Services stops working. It just seems cray-cray. Her neck is not that long, y'all. Okay. She is not amused. That's good with her eyes. Let's see now here. There. That's pretty close, y'all. I have to say, I think most people would recognize my kids in this mess. But, let's see. I don't like this side of the thing. There. Okay. Very, like, fairly odd parents, but it's fine. Let's see. Alright. No. Mom and Dad, always be. Don't want to get copyright claims in here. But anyway, very odd, y'all. See, that's the odd parent's hair. Now I've got that stuck in my head. But yeah, it's very interesting. I've never understood people that do not take the time to actually find out if they should be hating someone before they start hating them. But you gotta figure that those people are pretty messed up anyway. I've always heard people say that, like, that kind of hatred is a mental illness. And I believe it. It's like the grandma got one to her song. It's like, I believe it. It's so funny. There. You'll just have to take it from me. Those are my kids. So, let's see. But it's so funny. My lovelies. Not hilarious. It's not great. I'll keep working on it. But that's pretty darn good. It just goes to show you that you never know what you're going to do when I start talking, because I did not really realize that I was going to end up drawing a picture of them. But that's a pretty good picture. I would say that passes for like 5th grade art. But anyway, y'all, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more from the Daisycakes and Snowman Show. And I am looking right now for a temporary snowman. So if you come to my Reddit, it's DaisyBell1313 _ at reddit.com, and you will see that I have many advertisements up on my profile for you to look at to decide if you want to join me, and I would appreciate your time. So thank y'all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I appreciate you.